something we want to touch on here is kind of why it's so hard to surrender. Like, why is it such a hard thing to actually allow what's meant, and why we are resisting it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I think one of the things is just the fear of the unknown, right? So when you're surrendering, you're relinquishing that control for the end result or the expectation or the picture that you had for your life. And when you're doing that, you're opening up the doors to all sorts of possibilities. And that can be really hard. You've talked or you've mentioned a lot about this idea of like a lot of these coming from a place of desire, and because that desire isn't being fulfilled in the way that you thought it was, there's a lot of grief that is on the other side of that. And so when you're in this season of surrender, allowing surrender to be present and allowing that grief to be present can be really helpful, and balancing like I'm leaning into the unknown. So I'm going to try and let go of the fear of the unknown, and also recognize that's really normal. Like that's really normal and natural to be a little fearful of the unknown, because we want to be able to predict things. We want to be able to control the outcomes. We want to know exactly what to expect and when to expect it. And so when we take a step back and just recognize like, okay, I'm going to let go of control. I'm going to actually surrender here, and I'm going to hold space for that grief that's also going to accompany the surrender, and I'm going to lean into the fear of the unknown. Like it's balancing all of those things at once. And in some ways, it's going against our like innate desire to want to predict so that our mind and body feel safe.
Absolutely. When you were saying that, I was thinking so much about the animal brain and like how, oh, duh. Like, this is our hard wiring, our animal instincts that have kept us alive for millions of years. We It served a purpose. In the modern world, it doesn't serve the same purpose, right? So a lot of the time it can kind of do the opposite of serve that purpose, like today. And I think like really understanding how, like you said, how normal it is. I love like I love this topic. I have the word trust tattooed on my arm because there was a lot of years where I just like couldn't. And I had this teacher who literally, like, every time we would come to class, every time we'd work on things, we'd do all this work. And this was one of my more spiritually indigenous medicine based teachers. And she always was just like, oh no, you have to, because I'd be like, these are my desires, this is what I want to do, right? And it would be things like, I want to travel by myself, I want to go do this, I want to like go take these big chances. And I'm, what if they don't work out? Like, what if I can't do this alone? What if, like, I had all these objections? And she was just like, it actually got to the point where when I would ask a question before I was done asking it, I was like, oh, I just need to trust. Like, I just need to have trust that it, whatever unfolds, and that when I do step into this thing, I will be met with whatever I'm supposed to be met with, good, bad, indifferent. It's about the journey. It's about the process. And and there can be multiple types of grief, I think, when we step into the unknown, because one, there's the grief of, maybe not getting what we desire, right? And that experience. And then there's also the grief of the things that change when we do step into the unknown, and sometimes things unfold in a way we never could have imagined, because life, happens in so many different ways. And I think that it is kind of this, like when we were talking about doing this episode, it's like a sort of abstract concept in a lot of ways, because it's hard to neatly put a bow on the idea of surrendering and to trusting, and to really like letting the unfolding happen, and recognizing that it actually takes a lot of awareness and work, because the hard wiring in our brain is like, but this is scary. Like, my instincts are saying like danger ahead, even though maybe it's not it's not that. Maybe what's going to unfold is something greater than we ever could have imagined, or maybe it's a lesson that we really are meant to learn,